So Saturn moves into Aries today, May 24th, 25th. It's less than 24 hours as I'm filming this. So let's talk about magical tips, okay? When the planets change sign, they also change element. So let's see a little bit about how our magic practices are going to be influenced by Saturn now being in a fire sign. Aries is the fire of the spark. It's the primal fire. It's the start. It's the let there be light moment. The clarity, the headspace, the oh yeah, I see that, I can do that. As someone who has a Saturn in Aries, one of the things I'm going to say about this is that primal fire and that starter spark, you're going to have to light it probably more than once. You ever tried to light a lighter and it doesn't work right away? Or you just catch it the wrong direction? Wrong space, wrong time kind of thing, but then you hit it again and it works pretty good. Okay, that's kind of Saturn and Aries a little bit. So fire practices are not going to be so centered around kind of the big fire or the long fire. It's going to be more about how often and consistent are you being with getting fire up and going. It's about continuing to pick up the practice or continuing to pick up whatever it is that you're picking up on a consistent basis, kind of regardless of if the spark sparks the first time. Keep going every single time. Fire also, because Saturn is going to be in Aries, is going to offer to us more structure. How in the world does fire offer structure? There's actually a couple different ways, a lot of different ways, several different ways. It exists, okay? Fire structure. Let's think about first what fire is. It's an element that most commonly feeds on the earth and the air at the same time. Sometimes it does feed on a liquid such as gasoline. There's going to be a base to it. It's feeding on that, and then the air is also feeding it at the same time. Knowing what your fire is feeding from and how it's feeding from that, the environment of the fire, is going to be really important for Saturn and Aries. Keeping the environment where the firework, the fire magic, the fire practice is being upheld. Keeping that environment very well spelled. A well spell? Okay, fate, shout out to you and shout out to the wells, goodness. Keeping the fire continually burning. So if you know that there's firework that you're doing and it continues to need, for example, you're looking at a fire, you know a log needs to be put on it. Okay, that's an example of feeding the environment of that fire. It could be you gotta get some of the smoke out so there's more oxygen. Maybe you're bringing in a different kind of air. So trust yourself with that one. Because Saturn's going to be in Aries, staying consistent with making sure the environment of the fire is healthy, whether that be literally or metaphorical. For example, what are you working on when it comes to Saturn stuff, hierarchies, passion projects that are helping you to be promoted in the world, structures, business stuff, government relations? For anybody out there doing work, okay, right on. Go for you. Consistency. That's going to be part of the key of this, consistency. And the consistency of fire with Aries, I'm bringing this small thing. I'm bringing this small thing. I'm doing this small step. I'm starting this new thing. I'm doing this. It'll be one small step after the other. Another thing to keep in mind is pyrotechnics, okay? That's a form of firework that Saturn and Aries sort of has access to. So just for your own safety, because I don't want to disregard that practice. It's really powerful if you really want to step into it. And also, as someone who has a Saturn in Aries, sometimes you light a fire and it's just a little bit bigger than you intended it to be. So if you are working with expansive fire, or let's say, for example, you have a Jupiter in Capricorn or a Jupiter in Aquarius, or your Jupiter is in Aries, or your Jupiter's with your Mars placement, okay? Pyrotechnicality when it comes to fire magic is something that's going to be a little bit stronger when Saturn is in Aries. You're going to learn if and when you need to dial it back. You might not need to, but you might need to. It just depends on what you're doing and what the fire ends up looking like. So, diligence, reverence to that, it is. On the plus side, there's a lot that can get done with that kind of fire. Pyrotechnicality, you're telling me I'm going to light this and it's going to go boom? Cool. Thanks for that. Saturn in Aries is also the ram. Continuously butt heads with whatever you're trying to get done. Otherwise, it's not gonna get done. Think about how the ram lives. You've got to consistently climb things too. Oh dear God. It's the truth. So consistently butt heads, consistently go up against what it is that you are looking at receiving or looking at working on. And if you try and fail, try again. Try again. Literally just be like, oh, well, it didn't work. Guess that wasn't the one. Let's try again. Let's try again. Maybe you do the same thing another time and it ends up working the second time. Maybe you take a different perspective and you do it differently. Kind of up to you, but be consistent, whatever it is that you're working in. The pyrotechnicality part, again, as a Saturn in Aries, kind of some of my favorite magic. You're telling me I'm going to light this and all of a sudden it's going to be way bigger than I thought? Okay, yeah, thank you. Sometimes we're too close to the fire hot in that sort of situation. So if you're working with that kind of pyrotechnicality magic, okay, and you're new to it or you're unfamiliar with it, Don't light off something too big too soon. But experiment. It's kind of fun, okay? Don't knock it till you try it. It's pretty powerful. Saturn in Aries is, in my opinion, really, really powerful. Fire has a lot of destruction to it, but it also brings us a lot of light and a lot of warmth and a lot of guidance. We can kind of carry a torch with us. And one of the things that I've been saying that has been coming up frequently and occasionally since the beginning of the year is that with the Aries energy, we're slowly throughout 2025, kind of up until Saturn moves into Aries, receiving more and more and more and more light. So expect there to be a lot of clarity in your beautiful brain with whatever you've been grooving and moving through. Fire magic involved. If there's problems to be solved, it's gonna depend again on what you've been doing and what you've been growing and what you've been building. Shout out Saturn. So really pay attention because it'll show up probably in the small ways and then in big ways later on. So if you can pay attention to the small stuff, there's gonna be bigger stuff that makes more sense rather than it just being really big in your face all of a sudden. Yeah, shout out the pyrotechnics. Okay. Also, when I say pyrotechnics, think about Aries for a second. Do you know what Aries? Do you talk to an Aries? Are you familiar with the Aries energy? All right. Pyrotechnics, just take it into consideration. I love Aries, okay, but yeah, something to think about. So gratitude, reverence, and love to you. There's a couple different ways several different ways. Honestly, I don't remember how many did we go over? I don't know, but there's some ways that fire magic is going to be a little bit different with Saturn and Aries. And keep up on your mental practices. I'm going to keep saying it in every video. Meditate, awareness, all that sort of stuff. Keep up your mental practices, how you might need to, when you need to. That's going to be Saturn and Aries consistency with that. Don't let it fall flat, okay? You got it. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. I think I already said it literally a couple seconds ago. I'm going to say it again, okay? And I'll talk to you soon. Keep up your brew. I will too. True.